Check, 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 check 1, 2. This is Derrick Broze with Mint Press News. Let me know if you can hear me before we get started. Check, 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 check. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. This is Derrick Broze live at Standing Rock Sioux Reservation, the site of the fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline. Today is Friday, December 2nd, and it's a bit cold out here. Go ahead and let me know you can hear me. I got a thumbs up. Okay, cool. We're going to move forward. Before we dive into the report and let you guys know what's happening here at the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation at the fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline, please go ahead and share this everywhere you can. Share this on your friends' pages, on any pages that you manage, groups that you're a part of, on your timeline, on friends' timelines. Let's make sure to get this information out to as many people as we possibly can. And also, if you would go ahead and check in below, let us know where you're listening from. If you're listening from Houston, Texas, where I'm from, what's up? If you're listening from the UK, wherever you are tuned in from around the world, supporting Mint Press and supporting the Standing Rock Sioux and their fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline, please let everyone know so that when they see this video, whether they're watching live or later today, they will know that this is a global fight and there is support from around the world. Thank you for that. So once again, my name is Derrick Broze and I'm with Mint Press News. Please check out mintpressnews.com for all my past coverage of the fight out here and to keep up to date with many upcoming reports that I'll be filing over the next week and a half. I'll be here till at least December 12th, and we are anticipating several different events. So let's get into that right now. Many of you have heard that earlier this week, the governor of North Dakota and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers both released statements saying that they would not only be removing people from the Ocheti camp north of the Cannonball River, which is technically, according to the U.S. government, on U.S. Army Corps Engineers land. Then they also said that the Sheriff's Department said that they would be cutting off supplies, stopping people from bringing in new supplies to the camps. And in the last 2 days, we've seen those statements rescinded. Now the Army Corps says that they are not going to be forcibly removing anybody. The governor says that his executive order that he released just days ago, last Friday, that it's not going to be, cause for concern, that they're not going to forcibly remove anybody, that they're not going to stop supplies. So we're seeing them back off their statements that they made. And if I could speculate for a moment, I would say the reason they're backing off is because those statements calling for a removal of everyone in the camp by December 5th has actually just galvanized the movement out here. There's people coming from all around the country now, all around the world, who are trying to get here as quick as they can because they were worried about what is going to happen to the Standing Rock Sioux and all the water protectors and supporters and allies out here if the Army Corps moves in, if the National Guard moves in, or if in fact the governor gets his request for federal assistance and the military moves in. So they made that statement, and I think it backfired on them. Maybe they thought that people were going to go home, the cold weather was going to drive them away, but more and more people are on their way. I know personally from Houston, Texas, there's several cars coming up right now. We've been getting messages from people across the country. I personally have been getting messages from plenty of people asking how can they help or what's the easiest way to get here. So without a doubt, there are more people coming, and it does not seem like the fight's going to go away anytime soon. But at the same time, I do believe it would be unwise to trust the governor's words or to trust the sheriff department's words. When they say that they're not going to be coming in to forcibly remove anybody, at the same time, they also say that anybody who is here on the land will be subject to local, state, or federal charges. So my question, what I've been asking and getting everybody to think about is, if they're saying that you will face local, state, and federal charges for being here, but they're saying they don't plan to arrest anybody, how exactly would you face charges? It doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth and they're not really being truthful. And unfortunately, law enforcement is not always truthful with the people, and the military might not necessarily be trusted in this instance. Also, we have to take into consideration the fact that there are veterans who've already begun arriving, and there are supposed to be thousands more coming this Sunday. We just on the way over here, we just spoke to a couple of Iraq veterans against the war. We're going to try to do some interviews with them in a little bit, and also talk with some of the Indigenous Veterans Council, so to show you guys what the veterans think. And what we've been hearing, I'm going to show you guys the bridge real quick. What we've been hearing is, on the police side, they've been saying, hey, we want you to know we have veterans with us too. Excuse me. We have veterans on our side too. And they've been just every day just making announcements saying, the veterans on our side, they're trying to follow the law. If you guys have veterans on your side and you're breaking the law, we will use whatever force is necessary. In fact, the Sheriff's Department has been out here making announcements saying that they are legally protected and using whatever force that they think is justifiable in order to remove everybody from the camps. So that is why those of us on the ground level are a little bit anxious. All the journalists that are up here, we've been getting more press. We've been getting press from Germany, from all around the world, showing up now to highlight what's happening here. As we move again towards another possible battle. Those of you who followed my reports last time, I was here during the last week of October, on October 27th, which is what some of us call the day of the many fires, the day of the frontline raid, when they pushed everybody back from the site of construction over here to what is known as Backwater Bridge. This is the area, you can't really see it that well, but that bridge right there, for those of you who saw my last reports, you may have seen the reports about the military vehicles, the armored trucks being set on fire. That was the bridge right there, and I was posted right over there off the side filming the whole night. And you can see here's one of the armored vehicles that was burned. And on the 20th of this month, this vehicle was one of the ones that was removed from that bridge, and that's the reason that the water protectors were sprayed with the water cannon that you guys saw in the video. So if you recall, on October 27th, the frontline camp, which was just over that hill where the site of construction is, they came in, they raided that camp, they demolished tents, they demolished sweat lodges, they tased me, they pepper sprayed me, they tased and arrested plenty of other people, and then they drove us back to this bridge here. Then later that night, what I would call provocateurs showed up. They were not water protectors, and they set fire to an SUV, which you can see right there, and then the police pulled in and they set two armored vehicles, like this one right here. They left it there on the bridge, and then they all took off. And what happened? These provocateurs set the vehicles on fire, and then that was what was reported in the media. Oh, water protectors set military vehicles on fire, but they weren't water protectors. And in fact, those people ended up being kicked out of the camps and removed. So that day, we were anticipating the conflict, and the conflict came. Now we are once again about a month later, waiting for another conflict. Over apparently 2,000 to 3,000 veterans. I've seen estimates as high as 5,000 veterans are on the way. Some of them have already started to arrive. And at the same time, as I said, we have the Army Corps of Engineers saying that everybody must be out by December 5th. They're saying they're going to cut off supplies. Now they're backing off those statements. We also have a representative from Hawaii. I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Somebody go ahead and post it. But she gave a speech yesterday on the congressional floor saying that she is going to be here this weekend and that she'll be joining the veterans. So now it's getting some national attention, and as I said, we have media from Germany. NBC is here. Much of the media now is showing up because people are not sure. Tulsi, thank you. Tulsi Gabbard or Gubbard, I can't remember how to say that, but thank you for that post. She's the representative that gave this awesome speech. I really do recommend checking that out. And we're all just kind of waiting in anticipation. Tulsi Gabbard, thank you. And I will be here, as I said, throughout the weekend. I'm working with Mint Press News and several other publications. I will also be doing a photo spread over the next week or so. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mint Press News, for posting that. And I will also be putting out a couple articles as well as these live reports. And if you stay tuned to Mint Press News' YouTube channel, there's going to be some other high-quality reports that I get with my pro camera. But at this point, it's kind of quiet. I'll show you guys the landscape. This is so there's Backwater Bridge. There's some ATVs gathering up there. That's where the barricade is now, and the burnt-out truck. And there's a rope right here that's kind of trying to keep us back. I'm gonna go get a little bit closer in a bit to try to get some pictures close up, if I can. And then over this way is the Ocheti camp, all that way, and that's the main Highway 1806. So it's all snowy and cold out here. It looks beautiful, and it's quiet right now though. Weather's supposed to be dropping down to 0 degrees tonight or in the coming days. We're expecting more cold coming, but we will be here every day to show you what's happening on the ground floor. I'm going to try to take a trip over to Turtle Island, where you guys have seen the pictures of the police putting razor wire barricades, and that was another area where people were sprayed with water cannons. So we're going to continue to cover this as it develops. Just to reiterate, the Army Corps of Engineers is claiming they're not going to remove anybody. The governor said they're not going to cut off supplies, but many of us are still waiting to see what happens on the coming Monday and how things play out this weekend. I do think it's going to be a very busy weekend. I'm also expecting to get an interview with Daniel Sheehan, the constitutional lawyer who worked on the Pentagon Papers and the Watergate scandal. He's here in the camp, and I just made contact with his people. We're going to try to get an interview set up with him. And I talked with him back in New York during 9/11. He's a very intelligent person. He's going to offer his advice, and he's working with the Lakota Law Project to try to see what sort of legal help they can do to fight against this pipeline, and not only to fight against the pipeline, but to fight against the treatment, the civil rights abuses, the human rights abuses that have been taking place here on the ground. So lots to come. Please do stay subscribed and tuned in to Mint Press News. Check us out at mintpressnews.com. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Facebook, Derrick Broze, Broze. And if you'd like to support me personally so I can continue this trip and many other, so you can find me at patreon.com/Derrick Broze. I very much appreciate you guys and all of your support. One final point. If you are going to be coming out here, what I recommend is to bring firewood, to bring propane, and bring everything you need to stay warm. At the same time, I will say there's not really a need for donations other than those things, firewood and propane, because there are, in both camps, there are literally tents full of hand warmers, lighters, jackets, socks, everything that you can think of. That doesn't mean come here and expect to be taken care of. It just means that there has been an overwhelming amount of donations, and at this point, the donations are just kind of getting piled up, and we're not sure what's going to happen once the camp moves on, or if there's a success here or a failure. Either way, we could end up with a situation where there's an abundance of supplies just left behind, and then the Standing Rock Sioux will have to deal with that on their own. So take that into consideration. Thank you to everybody who's been donating to the cause, not just to me, but for those around the world who care about this issue and recognize that water is life. Those who are fighting for the water, Mini Wichoni Wakan, the sacred water of life, we really appreciate you, and I hope that all of you will continue to fight and spread this information. It's very, very important that the world knows what's happening out here, because whatever's coming in the next couple of days, we need to make sure it gets out, because as you know, the deadstream media, formerly known as the mainstream media, will not show you the truth. They are the fake news. Mint Press News and others are the real news. Thank you guys for listening. I'll check in later. This is Derrick Broze for Mint Press News. Check it out. Peace.